Recently, the specialized international tourism website TripAdvisor has ranked Hanoi number 4 in the top 10 tourist destinations in the world in 2015. This list is based on the rating and ranking of international tourists on the quantity and quality of tours, hotels, restaurants, and destinations of the cities in the world. That is a good sign for Hanoi's tourism industry, showing the great development in the recent years. According to the Department of Culture, Sports and Tourism of Hanoi, in the first 6 months of 2015, the number of international visitors to Hanoi reached 1.5 million people, a year-on-year increase of 8.8%. Hanoi's tourism industry set a target of welcoming 3.3 million foreign tourists in 2015. To achieve this goal, Hanoi's tourism industry needs to diversify the tour models in addition to enhancing the quality of tourism services, which focuses on the traditional cultural values and attracts more international tourists to Hanoi. In today's program, we will learn about the development of Hanoi tourism industry recently through the conversation with Mr. Thorsten Edens, Operating Director of DLM Travel Vietnam. Also, we will explore a new tour model in Hanoi, Hanoi Homevisit Tour.
Hello and welcome to Sharing Vietnam on Netviet VTC10. I'm Yet. In the program today, we have a talk to Mr. Thorsten Edens, Operating Director of the Danish travel company DLM in Hanoi, and he will share about the topic of Hanoi Homevisit, a new tour model in Hanoi. Thank you, Mr. Thorsten Edens, for joining our program today. So first of all, what do you think about the development of Hanoi's tourism industry recently?
There's been a lot of positive things in the development of tourism in Hanoi. Hanoi is consistently on the top 10 of TripAdvisor and other web sources for a place to visit. And in the last months I've noticed that especially on beautification of Hanoi, there's been a lot of development.
What do you think about the current tradition tour models in Hanoi, like city tour or the countryside tours?
There will always be room and there will always be people that want to take a traditional city tour in a bus. A lot of people that come here, a lot of tourists that come here, they don't have a lot of time. What we're trying to do is we're trying to rethink the model and say, okay, good, maybe we don't have to do it in a bus. Maybe we can do it in a horse carriage, on a cyclo, on a Vespa, on a boat. And try to see if people want to move into more slower travel and where they get time to immerse themselves into Hanoi and this wonderful city.
So what are the recent trends of the foreign tourists when coming to Vietnam and enjoy the tours in Hanoi? Do they prefer to join in the tour introducing the traditional values of Vietnam?
They like to meet Vietnamese, Hanoians, and they don't, they usually meet the guides and they meet the bus drivers and they meet the waiters in the restaurants, but they never have a chance to sort of communicate and come behind the scenes. And this is what we try to develop. It has been a concept that has been worked a lot in other countries. One of the things that most of the tourists that come here, they know about before they come is the food. They've all read about the different dishes, they've seen pictures of it, and then they arrive here and they don't really know what it is. And they're not really certain if they're really getting the chaka or the whatever they're getting of food. And this is where it's very important that they get to meet people that actually make the food, that sit down and tell them about the ingredients, talk, and then get to know the Hanoians and the Vietnamese.
Can you share some of the examples of these tour models in Hanoi?
Yes, we started with a home visit tour, mainly for younger people, but also for any age group that really want to come to a Vietnamese family and experience how it is to eat with them, to sit with them, to see their home, to see the ancestral temple that they have to experience the very funny houses that you have here, the very narrow, tall houses, to see that there's one room on each floor. And this has been actually a good success, where people come back and they say, wow, so friendly, so open, and one thing that they all are amazed about is the humor. Everybody has a fantastic humor.
Thank you, Mr. Torsten Edens. And now we'll come into a short clip introducing about the Hanoi Homevisit tour as well as its activities.
Mrs. Ha is preparing dinner to welcome a French couple joining Hanoi Homevisit tour at her house. Mrs. Ha's family is the first one joining the project since 2011. In spite of her old age, Mrs. Ha still enthusiastically welcomes foreign tourists to visit her home.
Tôi thích tiếp đón khách quốc tế đến nhà mình. Một phần là để giới thiệu cái bản sắc dân tộc, văn hóa của mình, của người Hà Nội. Đồng thời lại cũng được giao lưu, học hỏi, rồi là tìm hiểu thêm về văn hóa của các nước.
Here come the guests joining in today's tour. As usual, Mrs. Vân, the eldest daughter of the family, welcomed and introduced her house from the rock turtle set in front of the gate to the typical architecture of Vietnamese modern house. Then she will introduce more about the culture and worshipping of Vietnamese. Finally, the guests are introduced to the pictures about Mrs. Vân's family generations. One of the criteria for the family to host the tour is the family having more than 3 generations at the same roof, with many traditional features of a typical Vietnamese family.
Ý tưởng dự án đến với chúng tôi rất là bất ngờ khi mà một thành viên trong nhóm dự án Sai Hanu, gia đình bạn ấy được đón tiếp rất là nhiều khách du lịch nước ngoài, những người bạn của gia đình. Và khi đó thì những vị khách quốc tế này đến với Việt Nam và rất là hào hứng, rất là tò mò với những cái cách sinh hoạt của gia đình Việt và rất là mong muốn là tìm hiểu sâu hơn về văn hóa Việt cũng như là con người Việt Nam, cách sinh hoạt của người Việt Nam.
After being introduced to some features of the family, the couple will enjoy a dinner prepared by the host. They have to get used to the Vietnamese typical etiquette, such as using chopsticks or fish sauce. This is a really interesting experience for the tourists when joining Vietnamese dinner for the first time.
Tính đến thời điểm hiện tại, chúng tôi đã chạy được hơn 200 tour và có hơn 1.000 đón tiếp hơn 1.000 khách du lịch, khách quốc tế đến với Việt Nam. Mục đích chính của chúng tôi đấy là mang văn hóa của Việt Nam đến gần hơn với cả bạn bè quốc tế, thông qua việc khách du lịch quốc tế được tiếp xúc, được tham gia trực tiếp vào hoạt động sinh hoạt của một gia đình truyền thống ở Hà Nội, để qua đó có thể hiểu rõ hơn về văn hóa của người Hà Nội cũng như là văn hóa của người Việt Nam.
Joining Hanoi Homevisit gives students a good opportunity to accumulate a lot of experience, especially the communication skills.
Được tiếp khách, đón khách thì rất là vui, rất là thích. Mình cảm thấy phấn chấn, vui vẻ. Và khách đến đây thì người ta cũng đối như mình, người ta cũng được giao lưu tiếp xúc với mình, nói chuyện với mình thì người ta cũng rất là vui. Hai bên đều thích cả.
Afterwards, the guests have a talk to the host and tour guide when enjoying tea. They also discuss more about the similarities and differences between the two countries.
This was a pleasure to me when visiting a traditional family in Hanoi and joining the daily activities of Hanoian. I got the chance to meet friendly Vietnamese people and enjoy a delicious dinner. I hope that there will be many foreign tourists coming to Vietnam to experience the Vietnamese culture in the future, like us today.
Finally, they made their farewell and shared the meaningful gifts. Another tour of Hanoi Homevisit has finished, with a lot of memories for the guests when enjoying the real Vietnamese traditional values for the first time.
Trong tương lai thì chúng tôi rất mong muốn mở rộng tour Hanoi Homevisit sang các thứ tiếng khác như là tiếng Pháp, tiếng Ý, tiếng Tây Ban Nha. Qua đó thì giúp truyền đạt giá trị văn hóa của Việt đến với khách du lịch từ khắp nơi trên thế giới. Và chúng tôi cũng rất mong muốn mở rộng mạng lưới giữa sinh viên, các bạn sinh viên là tour guide cho dự án với các gia đình Hà Nội truyền thống. Qua đó thì tăng mạng lưới kết nối và giao lưu văn hóa giữa sinh viên, gia đình và khách du lịch.
As a company partnering with the Hanoi Homevisit tour, what do you think about Hanoi Homevisit project?
It's a complement to the different tour models that we have, because we have a variety of clients coming. You know, we have people that prefer to stay in the metropole, and that have, you know, that basically just want the 5-star experience, and we have people that really want, as I said before, to immerse into the Hanoian way of life. So it's a complement to it, but it's a new model that we are definitely going to look into expanding on. There's going to be more and more people interested in this.
So what are the feedbacks of the foreign tourists after joining this kind of tour?
The feedback is generally that they are amazed. They are amazed that of the friendliness, the generosity, the humor, and they get friends. They become friends on Facebook. They start emailing each other because they see a lot of similarities between Hanoians or Vietnamese and themselves. You know, it's not so strange. We're all people, and we really want to meet other people, and that's very important for us.
Joining this tour, the foreign tourists would have a chance to experience a real life of an Hanoian at the ordinary family for one night. So do you think it will contribute to promote the Vietnamese cultural values?
Certainly, because it opens a lot of doors into the very unique way that the Vietnamese culture is. You know, you look at your neighboring countries, and Laos and Cambodia and Thailand is completely different. Here, it will open their eyes for the strength, the humor, and the ambitions of the Vietnamese people. And also, you know, just small things like, you know, Vietnamese people, they don't bear a grudge on what happened before. We're looking forward, and we want progress, and we want to move in the right direction.
Actually, Hanoi Homevisit tour is student-based project, and it's somehow not very sustainable and stable. So do you have any advice for them to develop this kind of tour, Hanoi Homevisit, to develop sustainably?
It has to be, I think it has to be enlarged, because now it's Hanoi, and it will probably be as well in Saigon, and you will also find it in Hoi An. But there are so many other places where visiting the various different cultures that you have in Vietnam is very important. I stayed in a home visit in a Thai village up in Ha Giang, and it was amazing. It was beautiful. You have home villages in Mai Chau as well, and it's starting to develop in all the different places. And it doesn't have to be on the traditional north-south route. It has to be out in the countryside where you still have a unique cultural heritage, and you have traditions that are completely different from what you have in the big cities.
Thank you, Mr. Torsten Edens, for joining our program Sharing Vietnam today. And that is also the end of our program Sharing Vietnam. For comments and feedbacks, please send it to sharingvietnam@netviet2b.net. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you again tomorrow.